6-1.
Time.
Yeah.
Hello again, sports fans. Corey tells me the church bells are ringing, and it's time for another episode. In fact, the 921st of the program. This is Sports Chat alongside of Corey. I'm Jeff Cook. Welcome to our live audience. Give us a call, 717-334-3000. So you have a premonition we might get a call from one of our favorite people.
That's what I'm thinking. I have no sources, connections, or anything. It's just coming from my gut in my head.
Yeah, okay. You got to go with your gut sometimes. It's not always pretty, but anyway, here we are, another day, February 24th, 2026. And
Last Tuesday of the month for us.
Tuesday
Yeah.
of the month. You'll be mine in the store next week. I have a little R&R, so I know you'll do a great job. Music to our ears. A call, our kingdom for a call.
Yeah. We'll do some, house.
Careful what you wish for. Right?
Yes. Well, it was just, the gut and all that there. I think
Yeah.
it might be ringing the bell there, but
Okay.
I guess we can do the hot seat shining star before.
Sure, yeah. What do you got?
We can go with the hot seat first and then the shining star. This was a little tricky for me because there wasn't really an obvious, hot seat.
I had to reach, like 2 minutes ago, I had to probe the recesses of my mind to come up with something. So what you got?
So I'm going to go with the Memphis men's hoops. Currently
Penny Hardaway's team.
currently they're having their worst season in 25 years.
Wow.
They're 8th in the AAC, and they're on their second 4-game losing streak. So
Penny, well, you want to put Penny Hardaway on the hot
Penny,
seat?
yeah. So right now they're coming off their 29-win season last year. And you're thinking, well, you have a good core group. You're going to, do well. As it shows this year, they're not doing so well, in the AAC. They have 0 returning players from last year's roster. So
Well, they got rid of the Penny in the U.S.
That's
so
what-
maybe
yeah.
Penny, bad karma.
it's bad juju. So
right, well,
you look at that
pick.
and the transfer portal and the
Do.
So that
I have
was.
to do that when you say transfer portal.
I really had to dig deep for that there, and once I saw Memphis, I'm like, I'll go. I'm not walking in Memphis though.
Proud tradition. So what is there? Are they over 500?
They are a game under 500,
Boy,
so it's
NIT written all over.
it seems like that or rejection of the NIT.
Yeah,
there,
just
so.
saying. Yeah, now there are a couple of these other basketball tournaments too. So everybody gets a participation trophy. I guess is what it is. So, all right. So who do you got for your shining star?
Oh, I'll let you finish the hot seat so we can kind of go.
Okay, so this is like I'm a Philly centric. So I'm
You
a
got the
s- I'm a s-
76er sweatpants on.
Yeah, I know. I got the 76er sweatpants on, and I'm going with Sixers GM Daryl Morey. He was made some. I think he's from Houston, so they didn't necessarily like him in Houston. Now he's with the Sixers. I thought Adam McLean out of Duke, he was a candidate for Rookie of the Year last year, and then he got hurt, and maybe a slow climb back, hard to get into the rotation. But I didn't expect them to trade him, and I don't know what they got in return. But then, and not only does he get traded, he goes to OKC, and I don't know, I think he lit up the scoreboard recently. So, wow, I didn't like to hear that.
No, and especially, how the Thunder are playing and how, the 76ers are, kind of in that,
Right, trying to stay out of the play-in tournament, which is what, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So they've been 6th seed for a long time, so they're trying to hang on to that. Embiid hasn't played in 2 or 3 games, maybe since the All-Star break. I don't think he's played, and I think they're 1 and 2 in those games. Shockingly, they had a big win in Minnesota, 135 to 108 or something like that.
Yeah, I was surprised to see that. They were, I think, unanimously picked, to lose that game. They're from
Yeah,
the quarters and all
Ant-Man,
that there, yeah.
superstar. I don't know if Julius Randle played. I really didn't look at the stats for Minnesota, but wow, that shocked me. I thought it was
They were up big at
guaranteed
one point
loss.
then too. So, you look at that, that's, but,
They're about 5 games over 500, so they're definitely in the mix. A healthy Joel Embiid makes the team completely different. Some teams that have overachieved, Toronto, I think they've overachieved. Um,
I'll get the,
The Knicks, not so much. The Celtics, I think, have overachieved without Tatum, all they've done. You know who, I was thinking about this, the Duke twin candidate for player of the
Boozer,
year.
yeah.
Boozer. Kind of reminds me of Jason Tatum a little bit. He can score inside, outside, great rebounder for his size. I mean, that's
That's
high
a good
praise.
comparison
High
there, yeah.
praise, but they both went to
Absolutely.
Duke, a one and done. So, Cameron Boozer, right?
mm-hmm.
And his twin brother. Will it be like a Bron and Bronny? I gotta go where my brother goes. But there's the Amen brothers, or who are those guys?
That I'm not too familiar.
One of them's Amen, and the others I don't know. But they're fantastic. I don't think they played in college, did they? Did they go to some basketball academy?
I think
or
they went to the
something?
academy and then went,
Right to the either the G League or anyway. So. Shining
star.
Star.
Yeah, I'll let you go first
The
because I
little
have a
Catholic
couple.
girls, they were supposed, Coach Jerry Eckerode thought this might be a down year. Only 2 seniors, one of whom was a left-handed shooter, scorer over 1,000 points, Reese Meckley, and she's getting some help from underclass players. So the lady squire, the squirettes, once again, I remember back in the day, they used to go to Hershey, play on the Hershey court, and Gettysburg Times. We used to send 3 reporters. So, this is how the whole business of newspapers have evolved, and now it seems like a newspaper every day around the country goes out of circulation. So there were golden times, and Coach Eckerrode's been there through them all, and has, 3, 4 state championships?
Something that.
Some gaudy number. I mean, he's well-deserved in the Adams County Sports Hall of Fame. He's just been a terrific mentor and leader and winner. So the girls, again, I'll put him on there too, Coach Eckerode.
Absolutely.
Because he knows how to coach them up.
So the shining star that I'm going with, I got a trio. Usually I got one.
There's plenty of
But-
room.
I'm going with the hockey, with the women's and the men's hockey over last Thursday and on Sunday there. So I'm going to go with the goalie Connor Hellebuck. He had 41 of 42 saves during the game on Sunday.
He's huge. He's like 6'4", 270.
Monster.
He can
Just-
clog the pipes by himself alone.
And then some of those saves that he had, one with the
41
arm,
saves.
41 of
It's
the
like
42.
Flicked it
Just-
behind his back or
yeah.
something, just poked it away.
Just unbelievable, how he was throughout the whole Olympics there.
So,
Should have been
yeah.
MVP. That went to Connor McDavid, another.
On the losing team.
Yes, he has lost the Stanley Cup back-to-back years, lost the Olympics. So, I mean, it's not looking good for, Connor
But he
McDavid.
gets the MVP.
He
I
got
don't
the
know, Did he
MVP.
get money for that?
I don't think so. I
No?
think it's
Just
just
a
more.
trophy?
Yeah. And then the other 2 shining star, I'm going to go with Jack Hughes. Is
Scored the game-winning, the golden goal, as
the
they
golden
say.
goal part 2 there because of what happened on Thursday there, but he did it in bloody fashion with he got the cross sticking right in the face there.
You
So
guys wear mouth guards, or maybe they should have face. They don't seem to mind losing teeth.
yes.
Goes with the territory. You're a hockey player. You're going to need a good.
It's not the
dentist.
first time he said, he's, I got to go through this again. So, just the way he scored. And then his brother, Owen Hughes, he got the overtime goal against Sweden, in the quarterfinals to get into the semis. So you look at the Hughes brothers, doing well. And then on Thursday, you had the women's hockey, they're playing Canada. and Megan Keller gets a breakaway goal in OT. So you get the trifecta there. So
You're quite generous with your
Well,
praise.
yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. That's
going
all
after
good.
Canada
Megan
there.
Keller.
So
Yeah, well, how about the karma of this? Both teams won 2-1 in overtime over Canada.
yes.
You couldn't script it. I mean, if you said, here's what's going to happen, like, one of those things is going to be off a little.
And then seeing the every player getting the medal and all that there, but they get a little plush mascot from the Olympics. It's
Yeah, I want the goal. You keep your little monkey or
Yeah.
what is
Weasel,
it?
I think it is,
Weasel,
yeah.
weasel. Okay.
But
all
seeing
right.
the Canadian players get it, like they're already distraught. They don't want to be on the ice, but they get
what's this?
Yeah, they get
at
this
least,
little
like
stuffed
throw it on the
animal.
ice like
Yeah.
the octopus.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah.
What's that for a hat trick or something? Or-
That is, they throw the octopus. That's usually for the Detroit Red Wings, but they'll
Okay.
throw the.
for a hat trick or just a win or what?
I think for a hat trick, I believe there. I
Okay.
know the Hershey Bears will throw the bears out on the the stuffed animals when there's a hat trick there. Sometimes
Then they
they've-
throw some Hershey Kisses out there.
Should, yeah.
It might distract the hockey players. They'll be eating candy instead of getting their teeth knocked out.
I mean, looking at the men's hockey, it was mentioned numerous times during the game itself. There, 46 years to the day since Miracle on Ice. A lot of people forget that wasn't the gold medal game itself. That was
Beating the Russians.
beating the
and they
Russians.
knocked Finland off in
Yeah.
the final. Mm-hmm. I know exactly where I was that day. It was our niece's christening. She's now 46 years old. So pretty exciting. Al Michaels' famous line, "Do you believe in miracles?"
Yes.
Wow.
I mean, the game itself, it was just I'm not a
Mike
hockey guy.
Eruzione.
I remember seeing the highlights. I was not born during the
I know you
80s,
weren't. I'm,
but
I'm helping you out here. I'm filling you in on what it's like.
But it was watching the game on Sunday there. It was great. It was fast paced, and
Not allowed to fight in the Olympics, but
Not
there was,
allowed to
there was
fight.
plenty of
Jawing.
quasi fighting. What
Yes.
the heck? They let them. I guess they're not going to call stuff in the gold medal game.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of calling a Ricky Ticky Towel
Unless you
foul
get,
at the end of
you
a
know,
basketball game.
unless you get some chiclets on the ice there,
exactly.
and then you have to call it.
Evidence,
But yeah,
right.
but just seeing it was great there. The OT, and I was going back and forth. The 3-on-3 or 5-on-5.
How many minutes in was the Hughes goal?
Minute and 41 seconds.
And how about in the women's game? How?
That was, I believe, 5:18.
Okay.
So
would have been something if they were close and just like,
mirror it, yeah.
yeah. Anyway, it was plenty of similarities. I think the Canadians are probably favored, maybe more so on the men's side than the women's
Basically,
side.
like a pick 'em. Going into it, the women's U.S. was heavy favorites going into it, but they were trailing 1-0, and they got that
Yeah.
late goal.
With 2 minutes left.
2 minutes left, and then the
Captain,
captain, yes.
Sid the Kid couldn't play for Canada. That might have been a factor. He's 38 years old, but still pretty good from what I hear from hockey fans.
I don't think he's going to be playing in the next Olympics
No.
there. So
Where in France?
in France there, I mean, just with his age being 38, I don't see him being 40, 42.
Did you watch the closing ceremony?
Bits and pieces there.
That was interesting.
So it was.
It was it was kind of like a New Oxford halftime show with the band. It was very made you think.
Yeah, what I
Creative,
saw there,
very
it was very
creative.
creative. That was what I was going to say
Dancing
there.
and-
So,
Gave me some ideas for some new dance moves when I hit
Yeah.
the disco.
wow, we might have to air that here on
We
community
might, we
media
might.
there. So,
Sell the clip on eBay. So we have a caller,
yes,
Bill, a patient caller.
let's kind of throw the rod out.
Yeah, I think we still got one on the line. Welcome to Sports Chat. Hello.
Oh, he's gone.
Gone.
Ah,
Oh, I hate when that happens.
all right,
Please call back, somebody.
we're going to be here.
Yeah, we're gonna be here.
So
All right, so yeah, what do you got on your agenda?
we got football. They did some franchise tags that I saw. They have 2 weeks to tag a player, and they get the average salary with that position
For a
itself there,
year?
for the year there.
Yeah.
So and they can still make a long-term contract deal.
But they're guaranteed at least a year of the player's
Yes.
services if they can't work out an agreement.
So the two that I saw was the Falcons tight end Kyle Pitts. He's entering his 5th season. And then the Dallas Cowboys wide receiver George Pickens, which doesn't surprise me, just because, the arc of, where Pickens was last year. So
I still read Sports Illustrated, and 4 years, 120 million, something like that, for Pickett.
that's, yeah.
So he didn't get tagged because it came to terms. Mm-hmm. All right,
So-
we got one on the line? Welcome to Sports Chat, hello. Uh-oh. Live music?
Good. Are you there?
Yes.
Yes.
Good evening, my fine gentlemen.
Carl, how are you? Oh, is this a Carl?
I'm kind of a little upset. My Louisville Cardinals couldn't pull it out at North Carolina. They lost by 3.
It was a back and forth type of game
Carolina's
there.
undefeated at home. Was it at Carolina?
Yes.
Okay.
But they had both of them, Corey, projected as a 6th seed.
Yeah, I still think, we talked about this, a few weeks ago, and, I still think Louisville is going to be about like a 5 or a 6. I don't see them going, any higher than that there. I think that's their bridge point. A 7, I don't see that unless the wheels really fall off. If that would happen, they won't be a 7. They'll probably be, an 8 or a 9. But yeah.
Corey, do you think a 6th seed's respectable?
I think so. From where they're at, I'm going to pull up some of their numbers here, but yeah, I think a 6 is definitely respectable. Why is it doing that?
What is it, 6'10"? Is that the way it works out?
So the 6 would play the 10 because the 5 and 11 matchup there. So, but seeing with Louisville, they're 9-6. They're right in the middle of the pack there, in the race there. I think what the ACC, I think the top 4 get the double bye, or is it triple bye? So they're right in the thick of it. They're 4.5 games back from Duke, which Duke is going to get the 1 seed in the ACC. Overall, they're 20-8. They got some nice wins. Louisville beat Ohio State a couple weeks ago, or maybe a week and a half ago. So they got some quad 1 wins. In their
They
resume.
beat Kentucky, they beat Indiana, they beat Cincinnati.
Yeah, who have all beaten bigger,
And
better
they beat
teams.
SMU too.
And
Yeah,
what?
I think, well, in preseason, they had Louisville getting to the Sweet 16, and then that's it.
That's not a bad season for them.
Yeah, and they got 3 games left of the season there, and their season ends on March 7th, the regular season there. So they got Clemson, Syracuse, Miami. There's some meat on the bone there that they can bolster their resume.
I think that Louisville can get to the Sweet 16. If they're a 6th seed and they play 10, they should win that, and then hopefully win the next one, and then that would get them to the Sweet 16, and then I think they run out of gas.
Yeah, and then the other thing I always mention is just who are they facing in in March Madness. You look at the 68 teams, but it really depends on matchup to matchup. You're looking at 3 teams and all that there. So it's for me to say that they're a Sweet 16 team. I think that's respectable. It's just they could be Elite 8, or they could flounder out and be a round of 32 team.
Yeah, I agree, Corey. It's just they're really, really good at home. They feed off the energy, but it just seems like when they're on the road, it's just not the same team because I've watched them like every game, and it's just for some reason they seem tentative. They seem kind of just not relaxed. And sometimes they're forcing shots. But at home, I mean, they ripped off 118 points against NC State who just beat North Carolina recently by 20. So, I mean, I don't really know sometimes what Louisville team I'm going to get. And Miguel Brown Jr., 45 points as a freshman. He broke Cooper Flagg's 42-point record. Did you know that, Corey?
I did. That was on my my notes the other week there. So yes.
Now, I wonder what Michael Jordan got as a freshman.
It's it's a different style of basketball right now. From when they played back in the '80s and such there, but that I'm not too sure about. I think it's different numbers.
Right.
Yeah, I remember when the
But,
three.
you know,
Go ahead,
they
Carl.
got Duke number one. It's because they beat Michigan. You know, I mean, it's so hard to win twice against somebody. If they played again on a neutral site or even at Michigan, I kind of favor Michigan.
Well, that was a neutral site. It was
Yeah,
in DC.
that was in DC.
Yeah.
You look at the top five. It didn't surprise me that Duke is number one, in the nation there, just because you have Arizona that lost, Michigan lost, Houston they're on a 3-game losing
Duke
streak
just
right
beat
now,
Michigan,
and that's
and Arizona just lost 2 in a row. So I mean, Duke got
Now, Corey, ask
not every vote, but
I want you to answer this question. Okay, the rankings came out yesterday. Louisville's number 24. They lost to number 18, North Carolina, by 3 points, which I thought that Louisville should have won that game because there was an 8-minute span where Louisville did not score a point. Now, only losing to them by 3 at North Carolina, would you still kind of only drop them 24 to 25?
yeah. I mean, they only dropped 3 spots. I mean, it's not that egregious.
But now with that loss to Carolina, will they drop out of the top 25? Or can they still kind of stay in and only drop one position from 24 to 25?
They'll probably be a fringe. If they're outside of the top 25, they'll still have receiving votes. The teams that are receiving votes that are not in the top 25, you got Wisconsin, St. Mary's, Villanova, Miami, Florida. So it's going to be interesting, to see what happens the rest of the weekend there. But they're like a 24-25. If they're not ranked, they're just slightly out of the
Like 1 or
rankings.
2 out.
Yeah. That I don't. It's right now. I don't put a lot of chalk with AP rankings. It's just you look at that. They're still going to be in the tournament, like we mentioned. They're going to be about like a 6 seed. I don't see them dropping higher than that or lower. I guess.
I know they got 2 games coming up here. I don't know. They play at Clemson here pretty soon. I don't really. I think they dropped 3 of the last 4.
It's going to come down to that Miami game then. That kind of gives them a good stepping stone there. So the only team that dropped out of the AP rankings was Wisconsin. They were ranked 24. But you have lots of dancing. You have Alabama that went up 8 spots. The lowest I see is Vanderbilt that is 6, and Kansas dropped 6. But then Kansas is going to go right back up because they beat Houston. So it's very fluid.
parity.
That's fair. Now, my friend's a Villanova fan, and they've been lurking there around 27, 28.
They gave
But he
UConn
said
a
that
heck of
the
a game.
teams, some of the teams that they played were ranked and they lost. Would you say that Villanova is one of the big dogs in their division, but that it's kind of weak?
Well, I mean, right now you got St. John's. They're right up there in the Big East there, and you got UConn. But Villanova is like your 3rd, 4th team in that conference.
I was surprised.
Yeah.
Their record is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they started out that well, and lately they've been coming on. So yeah,
But my
expect them
friend
to make
told me that
the field.
some of the games that they lost were ranked teams, and that's why that they haven't pushed them into the top 25.
When you're at this point of the season, you have so many. You have 60 plus AP voters and all that there, and they kind of crunch it. So you kind of get a feel of how teams are, but you know what the elite teams are, and the other teams are kind of jockeying right now. Is my best way of saying it.
Right. So what do you think overall of Villanova?
They're 21-6. I haven't watched too much of Nova during the season there, but they're a pesky bunch. They're 3 games back from St. John's, which St. John's is playing UConn this week, so that'll definitely have a telltale sign of who is going to be.
St. John's won the first game.
And they'll have that the tiebreaker. UConn has to
Hey,
win.
Jeff, I gotta ask you this question. I know me and you've been together for a long, long time.
Yes, sir.
If you gave out an
Decades.
award of your number one watch viewer, who would you give it to?
Of my number one viewer of over all the years since 1989,
Yeah.
you?
Listen, you better have said me, Jeff. I'd never call back.
I thought you were going to say Robert for a second. I
know,
didn't know where you were
they're
going.
Going
Yeah.
all the way back for sure. Carl, how many years have you been calling
Oh
in?
my God, we got memories of way back.
Oh yeah, I loved you.
Oh, my God.
I loved you did the piece on the old, the Community Media Hall of Fame or the ACT Hall of Fame. Pierre.
I even liked your
Pierre
commercials,
Fontaine.
Jeff.
Yeah.
Rick's Towing got you going.
Yeah.
Rick's
When
Towing,
your
you know,
car
gets you
breaks
going.
down and you're all alone, who you gonna call? Rick's Towing.
Rick's towing.
Rick's Towing. They'll
Also
get
back
you
in
going.
the day of Pierre Fontaine and
Yeah,
John
yeah.
Tannen and the late great
Yeah.
Jim Dooley.
Yeah. It was all good
And we
stuff.
still got icons, the Amish Weasel, Jeff Gasly.
He's right up there with the
Memories,
old-time
memories,
fans.
memories.
And of course, Robert, he's very loyal. Hey, so Carl, stay with us. I gotta acknowledge the banner sponsors. Okay, just don't.
Hey, Jeff, I got a question for you.
Go ahead.
Okay, number one scoring Chicago Bulls is obviously Michael Jordan, and Scottie Pippen is number 2. I want you to tell me who number 3 is, and he was a great player back in the 70s, and he just passed away within the last couple of years. Do you know who I'm talking about? Number 3 Chicago Bulls scorer of all time.
No, I don't.
Do you want me to tell you?
Yeah, tell me.
Do you remember Bob Love?
Bob Love, sure. Yeah, I mean, he perennial all-star. Great question, and yeah, that's a good one.
But I asked a couple guys at work, and they thought this was a great question, and it was brought up, and I didn't realize this, but the late, great John Flynn, who used to call you the big Dodger fan, he'd go on there he'd get the whole show, and sometimes I'd let him, he said, I don't want to do this because, Carl, I don't want to hold him up. I said, I used to run into him, I said, John, if you want to take the whole show, go ahead. He just passed away in the last couple of years. Big
know.
Dodger fan.
Yeah, big sports chat fan. We love John, so we miss him, and so yeah.
Yeah.
Well, listen, let me acknowledge the banner sponsors. Stay with us. We have more to discuss. Well, I want to add to the Shining Star Award. Thon, the telethon at the Penn State, over $18 million, a record high. Put them in there. Quadir Copeland, the win over at UNC, Gettysburg's own. He played for Gettysburg High School, I think 9th, maybe 10th grade. He had 20 points, 8 assists or something like that. So he's in there. Anyway, current banner sponsors. Banner sponsors, you get creative input and the satisfaction of knowing that you help support public television and all that we do here at Community Media. Our sponsors include Adams County Community Foundation, the Adams County chapter of the Pennsylvania Sports Hall of Fame, Adams County Trout Unlimited, Classic Antique Innovations, Destination Gettysburg, Exchange Club of Hanover, Gettysburg Railway, and you too can become a sponsor for $80 a month or for $880 for a whole year. That's 12 months for the price of 11. Just contact us at 717-334-3000 or communitymedia.net/sponsorship. Thank you. So, Carl,
Yeah.
I mentioned Thon, and apparently Coach Campbell and his new players were all involved in that. So they really have immersed themselves in the Penn State culture. It's quite promising for the future.
Yeah, I thought so too, Jeff. And all my friends at work that are Penn State fans, they're excited about this upcoming season because it seems like it's a cupcake schedule. I think that it'll be really, really good. The quarterback is,
Yeah.
he's got an arm on him.
Yeah,
I
Rocco.
don't know if they're going to pick up. Corey, a friend of mine also told me that they picked up Buckeyes running back. Is it James Peoples?
Yeah, James People. Yeah, he transferred from Pitt to Ohio State, and then Ohio State to Penn State. He wasn't getting a lot of the touches. It was, a three-headed committee, I guess you could say. So this will give him, more chances, because Penn State lost a running back named Corey Smith that went to Toledo. So, they're just filling up their running back depth chart. So.
It's funny because now my two teams, Louisville, they got the backup quarterback from the Buckeyes and Penn State. The other team, we got the backup running back for the Buckeyes.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm anxious to see how this Abraham Lincoln guy from Ohio State's going to be a fit for the Louisville quarterback.
You mean Lincoln Keyholtz?
What did I say, Abraham Lincoln?
You said Abraham Lincoln, yes.
The rail splitter, he could really be a force on the defensive line, no doubt.
I thought that was a joke, but yes.
Their top running back, Isaac Brown, who's a speedster. One of the best in the ACC. My friend told me that he's going to make this decision in the next couple of weeks. He's got Louisville, Texas, and Ole Miss. Now, I don't know. Hopefully he stays with Louisville. Do you know that?
I'm not too familiar with that there, but with those schools that you rattled off there, it's going to be interesting to see, whether it's Ole Miss or Louisville. I think you said Texas there, so I mean, there's in riches of talent there, of schools there. So, probably stay with Louisville, but there's you look at other.
The other 1,000-yard rusher, T1 Brown, he's really good too. He's staying. So my friend also, he's been with Louisville for 2 years, and he thinks that he's going to stay with Louisville.
Okay, yeah, I really haven't been looking at the who's staying, who's going right now with the transfer portal.
How many players are in the portal? Like thousands?
Thousands and thousands, because you're looking at D1, D2, D3, FCS, FBS, so it's a lot out there.
So, are these guys allowed to have agents now, or they're not supposed to have agents?
Yeah, they can have agents there. It just depends on the contract, the wording, and all that stuff there. So,
so far in the portal, right? Who has picked up the biggest star so far, Corey?
that I'm not too sure, just because what teams' needs were and what they're looking for. I mean, you look at last year's transfer portal and and how that played out in the 2025 season.
How about Carson Beck going from Georgia to Miami and almost getting another championship at a different school?
Or from Fernando Mendoza that transferred from Cal to Indiana. So it's so hard to say right now, like, oh, this team is really good because of what they got. It really all depends on the locker room and all that there. If, how can they shape up a 3-star recruit into a 5-star and all that there. So I really don't put a lot of chalk.
How many big-time quarterbacks went into the transfer portal? I know Jeff Brom, the coach for Louisville, is really good because 3 years ago he got Jake Plummer's son. 2 years ago he got Tyler Shuck, who went on to play for the same second round. And then last year they got Miller Moss, which he was okay. So he's done very well with the quarterbacks in the portal. So I guess he sees and he knows, and he's looking at this Lincoln guy. Mm-hmm. So he must see something in him.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to see a lot of schools that are not going to have freshman quarterbacks at all. I mean, they'll have them on their roster, but they're not going to be starting just because they'd rather have a quarterback that's groomed and, have them for 2 years. I can see Ohio State doing that going forward, in Alabama. And, you route off other schools. It's better to have a experienced quarterback.
Corey, this Lincoln guy, what year will he be in the fall?
I would believe he is a redshirt junior. He's been in the system
now, if
there.
he does well, that's possible that Louisville will keep him another year where he couldn't keep the other three quarterbacks because they were seniors.
Or he could go pro. I mean, it's one of those where he's 3 years out of high school, and he could go to the pros and all that there. So it really all depends on that angle then too, where these.
So basically, what you're saying, if he has a stellar year and the pros are interested on him, bye-bye. If he's kind of mediocre, that he has the potential to be better the following year, he can stay with Louisville, do you think?
Yeah, that's the other angle, because he wasn't going to be playing at Ohio State just because of the depth chart, and he is almost out of eligibility, so that's why he's going to another school. And that's why you're seeing that with all the positions out there, is how can they get to the next level, and if that is not where they're at right now, they're going to go somewhere else. So that's
Anyways,
just...
I'm interested to see what Rocco can bring me this fall and Lincoln. Mm-hmm. It should be interesting.
Definitely. Things are on the rise for the Nittany Lions after what a disappointment. You still, can you believe the way they lost to UCLA? I think was that the first game that sent them spiraling downward, or was there a game before that?
Well, that was the Oregon game, and then the
Oregon
UCLA
game in
and
overtime, right?
The
I
nail in
mean-
the coffin was basically the Northwestern game when they, that was the home game and all that
Like a 1-point
game.
loss or something, tough.
Hey, Jeff, I'm kind of proud of myself because I hadn't called Ewans for a long, long time.
And now we are
So I'm
two
3
weeks
for
in a
3.
row.
This is the third week I've been able to check in.
Third week.
That's right. Well, we oh yeah, the last 3
It's
weeks.
become contagious again.
Well, we love hearing from you, and you always have so much to add to the conversation, so thank you.
Hey, so what are the Phillies going to do? I have to ask you.
Get their third World Series ring of their franchise. Hope springs eternal. I don't know, they didn't make a ton of moves. I thought they might try to keep Harrison Bader. Then they missed out on Bo Bichette. They're kind of just rolling the dice. It really comes down to the bullpen. I don't know. I think they got this guy Doran back, the guy from the Twins. That he was pretty good, better than anybody they had before that. So I don't know.
Hey,
I
Jeff,
don't
getting
know.
back to that with John Flanagan, the Dodger fan.
Yeah.
He got me on this thing, and I'm spreading it all over the place that I can when I talk to somebody that loves baseball, and some of them can get it and some can't. When I said, what pitcher won World Series in 3 decades, the 60s, the 70s, and 80s? You got it, Jeff.
Yeah, Jim Palmer, right?
Yeah. I sometimes I stump some of the guys, and some I don't.
Yeah. Well, here's
I
a
thought that was a pretty good question.
here's a trivia question. Who was the only player of the game to play for a losing squad this past winter season? Yeah, well, Corey knows it, but
Chuck Shaw.
Chuck Schull, yeah, Chuck
I
Schull.
would have never gotten it.
No, I know. That's why it was pretty trivial. But listen, speaking of trivial, just 21 minutes away, we will be here live with live trivia. So
Well, I don't really watch the Winter Olympics too much, but I had to watch this. And I thought it was a great for the USA when they won the gold in hockey,
women or men or both?
the men.
Yeah, the men. It was pretty exciting. And Corey nailed. He said that goalie is a beast. Hasn't he won the
Oh my God,
league-wide
he's
MVP?
Yeah, Connor Hellebuck. Just the way he was stopping, and his percentage of saves was like .956.
Was it off the radar?
Off of what?
Almost 96 out of 100.
Was it off
Yeah,
the radar?
yeah.
Yes, I mean, just seeing that. I mean, we mentioned this, at the beginning of the show. He should have been, the MVP. That went to McDavid, but just some of the plays,
Maybe
his
it's
saves.
the anti-U.S. backlash.
Yeah.
Let's give it to the guy from Canada.
When Canada was unable to score, when they had 5 versus 3,
That was amazing. Yeah.
just the way that they just kept on passing. It was almost like, a basketball where they're going for a 3-point shot there. But they had open shots, didn't go for it, but,
Well, they didn't give up a goal shorthanded the whole series?
Yeah, on power plays for the
Yeah.
opposing team,
Right.
they went 18 for 18 there. So,
Wow.
you know,
And when you're five skaters on
Jim,
three?
I gotta ask you this question.
Yes, sir.
How's the other iconic, really enjoyed this kid. How's the other Corey doing? Have you heard?
Oh, he actually called in and did a pretty good Robert imitation. He had us going for a while, I think.
a few months ago or something.
Yeah, Corey. He's not with Fox anymore in Baltimore, but I think he just recently got married and he's doing very well. Corey
Now,
Zimmerman.
was it Corey Zimmerman?
Yeah, Corey Zimmerman. Yeah,
He was great. I really, really enjoyed him.
great young man, and hopefully he's tuning in. We think the world of him, and we enjoyed having.
Also, the great iconic drummer, Brandon Glorioso.
Okay, here's a good question. What's the name of his band? The Chumps. I love it. Yeah, Brandon would be happy that we're talking about him.
And I better get my fanny off there because this
All right.
Denver Bronco fan and Houston Astro fan is probably itching to get on. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
No idea. Hey, thanks, Carl. You're the
It's a pleasure
greatest.
talking to you guys. I'm trying to make it 4 for 4 next week.
You'll be in the Hall of Fame right there if you can do that.
There you go.
All
I love
right.
it.
All
Catch
right.
you later, guys.
All right, Carl. Thank you. Take care. Mr. Red, Blue, and White?
Red, white, and blue, I think. Yeah. Or
Yeah, red, white, and blue, like Louisville and Penn State. Somehow anyway.
throws all those colors.
Combines them all. So we have a few more minutes. What else didn't we cover?
I mean, we can talk a little bit about the baseball. The Braves signed starting pitcher Chris Sale for 1 year, $27 million.
What is he, 37 years old?
I think
38?
38 or such there.
Oh,
But
yeah,
he was durable. Last year, and
Got hurt at the end of the year, didn't
in at the first half of the season he was durable. In the second
Dominant.
half,
And the year before, he won the Cy Young, so.
so that'll be interesting. The price tag is what it is. There, $27 million. It's not going to come cheap with a veteran to his caliber there. So
But Braves were a big disappointment last year, and then the new manager, we'll see what happens.
so
The Mets, meanwhile, they just really upgraded their squad. I'm worried, I have to say, I'm worried about that. We have time for another few minutes of chatter.
you can
Blarney.
squeeze it in there. But the other, over the weekend, Pirates outfielder Bill Mizorowski,
Died
passed
at
away
age
there.
89. Yeah, very sad.
He
Hit
had-
the Game 7 walk-off in 1960 in Pittsburgh. I think they have a plaque on Pitt University where the ball landed, back in old Forbes Field. And it was a 7-game series. The Yankees crushed the Pirates 15-0, 15-2. Pirates won 1-run games, whatever, and then I think it was tied at 9-9 or something, and Mazeroski homered leading off the 10th, and that's how the Pirates won it. So, he was in the Hall of Fame, mainly for his defense. He did have 2,000 hits, but considered the finest defensive second baseman of all time. So I stole your thunder, but who else who did we talk about?
That's about.
Well, didn't the Pirates sign somebody?
Just recently, or
Yeah, I thought they made a signing that seemed out of character. Didn't they get the guy from the Braves, Ozuna?
yes, yeah,
Marcell Ozuna? Maybe that was a
Marcell,
while
yeah.
ago. Okay.
and they also got Ryan O'Hearn.
Yeah,
But
from the Orioles.
just recently that was.
You liked him?
Yeah,
O'Hearn?
he was a nice, durable player there. So.
Okay. All right, well, we're almost out of time. Don't forget trivia in 15 minutes. Thanks to Sean in the control room. Thank you to Corey Smith. Any shout-outs? Okay.
No, I got nothing right now.
Thanks
Yeah.
to all the viewers for tuning in. Join us next Tuesday and every Tuesday here on Sports Chat. Good night, everybody. Mahalo.